It gives me amazing pleasure to introduce our next guest.
What's happening?
It's happening right now. I got goosebumps because since Up in Smoke, still smoking, I've come to appreciate this man for how community-minded he is. I'm just shocked we get a chance to talk to him. Please welcome Mr. Cheech Marin from Cheech and Chong.
Look at that! Right there.
Cheech, look at us. We're talking. How are you, sir?
I'm just ducky. We're out here in the desert in Joshua Tree where it's climbing towards 100 degrees. So, but we have this thing, an invention called air conditioning. So we always use that.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, it's good when you have it. But do you remember a time in your life when you didn't have air conditioning?
Yeah, I do very distinctly. I used to pant like a dog, you know. Are you guys in Calgary?
Yeah, man. No, we're in Toronto. We're in beautiful Toronto, but
we're all over.
I read a little bit this morning, and I had no idea that if it wasn't for Calgary, Canada, Vancouver, we wouldn't have Cheech and Chong. Is that correct?
That's absolutely true. We both live there. Tommy and I both live there. He's Canadian, so he had to live there. And so he lived in Calgary. And when I moved up to Canada, I moved to exactly the same place that he was born and raised in that section of Calgary. And then I lived in Bragg Creek for a little bit.
Wow. But this is where, dude, and this is where Cheech and Chong started. And I was reading this morning that you guys met in Calgary. You started performing in Vancouver. Out of nowhere, we met
in Vancouver.
Oh, you met in Vancouver. And where did you?
The legend of Tommy Chong in Calgary.
No,
no, really, I did. I heard about him before I ever met him.
Did you really? How did you hear about him, and what were you doing in Canada?
Well, I was two things. I was exercising my First Amendment right, and because I was part of the draft resistance movement during the Vietnam War, and the feds were after us because they reclassified us because of our political activities, and they wanted to draft us and send us to the front lines of Vietnam. That was their take, and so I. Clearly a First Amendment issue, and so, but I was a potter at the same time, and I wanted to study pottery, and there was a very good potter in Vancouver, in Calgary, actually in Bragg Creek, that I got to know and was his assistant for many years, or a couple of years, anyways. Was that Andrew Hanchuk? He was from Bragg Creek.
Cheech, when you were in Vancouver, did you and Tommy buy into a club?
No, it was actually his family's club when he was on the road with his band, Bobby Taylor and the Vancouvers. They were a Motown band. It was the first mixed band that Motown ever had, and gay and straight guys. And so he was he was there, and when he came off the road, he went back to his family club, and they had turned it into Vancouver's first strip bar. And so, he saw it. He goes, well, but he really was influenced by seeing improv theater on the road in his travels, so like Second City and the Committee, and so that's what he wanted to do. But we had to make a living so he made it Naked Improv, and so that worked out great for me.
Dong's out in Canada. You're allowed to have the bottoms off, so why not?
I mean, the week before, you couldn't walk into a bar with a glass in your hand or stand up with a glass in your hand. When I first got to Alberta, like, it was interesting, but you had to buy two at the same time. So
keep your hands busy.
Canadians are not that. I mean, I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
Smart, two at a time.
Well, we're smart, and just so you know, we love to drink up here, which is really
right away.
Yeah, yeah. We love to drink, and we love our pot. And I want to get to pot in just a second, but I want to get to the drink because you've done something pretty incredible. You've come up with a couple of mezcal drinks, and how do you say the name of the company? This is your mezcal. Am I getting it right when I say Tres Papalote? Tres Papalote? How do you say it?
Tres Papalote. Three kites, like your three kites to the wind.
Yeah.
And we have
Lachlan on a Tuesday.
in a Mexican sort of way, kind of.
yeah.
Tres papalote, and I'm gone. But some people came to me and they said, "Hey, we'd like to do a celebrity beverage of your choice." And they always want tequila, and I said, "There's 150,000 celebrity tequilas out there," and so I said, "Let's do something else." So I started researching, and I go, mezcal. Mezcal was not really known when we first started this thing. So this is the next thing, and like reinventing a neighborhood or something, and it's doing very well, and people, it started to catch on. You get mezcal bars all over now, so
it's delicious stuff.
Do you drink? Do you drink these, and how do you drink them? Because I know that you like your mixed drinks. I know you like the odd margarita, but and I want to not just talk about the kind of stuff you're drinking, but I want to talk about these labels too, because these labels are done by some artist friends of yours, and we'll get into your art in just a second.
Yeah, we have the 3 different expressions on it right now, and it all has to do with what kind of agave they use, and it's like Espadín, and Mexicano, and Cupriata. Those are the 3 different kinds, and there was certain blends between them, and they used to have a distinctive, like añejo or whatever else they got. I just drink añejo, so that's all I know.
It is the most delicious.
I'm sure they're good,
But yeah. They got añejo, they have reserva, they've got all kinds of different kinds. But what's interesting about these mezcal drinks is that if you've had mezcal before and you have had tequila, the difference is there's a real kind of a smoky flavor to mezcal that you don't necessarily get with tequila.
Where does that come from?
Yeah. It comes from the processing of it. It's a less refined process than tequila, and less it retains the smoky flavor that they use in kind of brewing it, and so it's a distinct smoky flavor, and once you get used to it, it becomes the only flavor you want.
They roast that agave first, and then they grind it, right? And then
is that what it is? Okay.
And I love mezcal. I think over and above, and I'm a tequila fan, but mezcal's just a better
business.
Flavor.
Yeah, it's so great, man. It's like discovering indica for the first time, I guess.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Can I ask you a question?
It was just weed,
Yeah, dude, and that's the thing, right? Like, first of all, my dad hit me in the head with Up in Smoke, the VHS copy of it, because I was watching it, and he walked in, and you guys were smoking Labrador, and he smashed me in the head with it. Yeah. I was like a 14-year-old kid, and it's like, you can't watch that shit, and I'm like, Dad, it's just smoking weed laced with dog shit. But at the same time, like you're from that era when it was like so bad to talk about pot, so bad to smoke pot, and now that weed smoking back then as opposed to cannabis consumption today, it's got to be a mind fuck for a guy like you, pardon my language, a guy like you who literally fought against prohibition, probably got arrested and popped and were searched at the border like every time you came through. And now it's like, oh, I've got my own blend, I've got my own brand. I mean, it's got to be weird, right?
Is there a Cheech bong out there?
The payoff.
A Cheech what?
Bong.
Cheech bongs up there. Yeah, we got. I don't know if that's the way you should do it. I mean, it does come with instructions, so follow those. Yeah, we got Cheech everything you could think of related to smoking, but we have a Cheech bongs. They're actually made in Canada.
Oh, you're kidding?
Oh, wow.
And we have Cheech and Chong bongs too, and I'm sure there's Chong. Well, I don't know if he can do them anymore because that's what he got nailed for.
He got put in jail for the bong.
Yeah, he did 9 months at the Rock.
Yeah. But now, like, it's got to be weird watching everybody open up. Canada legalize it. In California, you can just literally go in and load up on whatever, like an indica, sativa, edibles that are like 1,000 milligrams a dose. Like, I mean, it's got to be weird for you, right? What is that like then versus now?
It is like, what are you guys talking about? It's because in Canada, legal pot throughout the country. So, hey, that'd be good for Cheech and Chong, but you can't have celebrity advertising for your brand, no matter who you are.
Yeah, it's just like tobacco and liquor.
What? how do that work, Canada? Come
We
on,
suck.
guys, I'm one of
we
you,
got
man.
weird
I was
rules
landed
around.
immigrant. Don't I get something off for that?
Yeah, we've got weird. Yeah, Lachlan, you're right.
got
We've got
like,
weird
I don't
laws.
know. You can't have any beer, but you have to order 2 at a time. It's like,
Oh yeah.
We used to have like the Demorier Center, the players' regattas and stuff, and even cigarettes you can't add here.
They would crack me up the first time I was in Alberta, and I go to one of these beer parlors. I was in Banff, and ladies and escorts had one exit or entrance. You couldn't walk in if you were a woman. You couldn't walk in by yourself into this bar, and they had their own, and you couldn't mix, and you couldn't stand up with a glass in your hand, but you had to order 2 at a time.
Yeah, so ridiculous. Yeah.
Okay, that was good.
Yeah. We're progressive on one hand, but then we find ways to take it back and confuse everybody. Right?
And
Like,
then all of a sudden it was totally loud. The next day there was naked women dancing on your table.
Yeah.
It's the way we pacify the school moms and the churches up here. We'll let you do it, but we have some rules.
Don't fire a finger upside you.
Yeah,
exactly. Then we're going to arrest you.
You can have it, but you can't advertise it. Okay,
that's right.
Yeah.
Joe Blow can advertise it, but not Cheech and Chong.
No, dude, we're so backwards here when it comes to it's like weed is totally legal, basically normalized. You can go around and you can get a nice indica, you can get a blend, you can get everything. I know you have private stash. I've looked for it. You can do all that stuff, but the second it says it has your name on it, like if you sell a blunt wrap up here and has your name on it, they won't sell it. And I don't understand. Nobody understands why. It's almost like they don't want to sell it, but they just want to keep people high. I don't get it. I'm just happy it's legal.
I think that's in the Canadian national anthem. We will sell you weed, but not under your name. However it goes.
That is it. Actually, good job.
I mean, it isn't.
You got the melody line, Cheech.
Okay.
Regina.
But I've been busted at the border going into Canada, or found with weed 3 different times.
3?
3. And I always and the last time it was Tommy, I was with him, and they found 1 joint in his house, and they took him to the constable or whoever there was in the RCMP at the airport, and the guy says, "Hey, I found this on Cheech and Chong," and he opens up, and it was a pen box, where you like a fountain pen or a bubble, and there was a joint in there, and he looks at it, and goes, "Wow, a whole joint, Cheech and Chong, huh? Get out of here! You're wasting my time."
Pretty anticlimactic when you have Cheech and Chong at the border crossing and you're about to make a big drug bust.
There was some.
What do you mean the smoke didn't roll out?
One time we went into Toronto. And to do the El Macambo there was this club. It was a very famous club, and everybody played there. And the Stones played there. We were having a great time. And so when we got there, somebody gave us this huge bar of hash. It looked like one of those giant Hershey bars, and we smoked as much as we could, and we gave everybody that we knew a big chunk of it. And at the end of the week, we still had a huge bar of it. So, what are we gonna do? We got to leave it here. So we go to the crossing the border at the thing, and where they search you, and Tommy goes, "Hey man, I got all these bags. Can you carry that bag for me?" I was like, "Oh yeah." So I got it, threw it up on the thing, and the guy says, "Well, what do you got in there?" So we got all our dope in there. Get out of here. Same thing. Get out of here. And I said, "Hey, God, we could have brought that weed or that hash." He says, "Well, you did, Oh, thanks, pal. I swear to God that happened.
You were an unintended mule.
He muled you.
Unintended mule. One time he said, "Well, if I told you, you'd have got nervous." Well, no shit.
I have a question, Cheech.
Yes, sir.
Do you ever run into a Dave that gets mad at you?
No, they just about get mad at me, but then because it's, like I'm so damn tired of that bit, but they kind of like it's their connection to history, so they're not that pissed off about it, which is good, man. But I would be. Dave's not here. I'm here. I'm standing in front of you, idiot. Open the door.
Dave's not here, man.
Oh, dude, yeah, Dave's not here, man. Is like it's one of those like you've got to be shocked. I don't know if you are at this point because you're such an accomplished individual. You're a nice man, and not only are you a nice man, but you've turned into this incredible benefactor for art and Chicano art. And I want to get to that because you're doing a couple of things at the Riverside Museum, Riverside Art Museum, which is literally called the Cheech Marin Center for Chicano Art and Culture. And I had I knew you were an artist. I knew you loved art. I knew you collected Chicano art. But I had no idea you actually have your own thing called Cheech Collects June 18th. It's called the Cheech, but your art collection is, from my understanding, some of the biggest in the world when it comes to Chicano artists as well. I mean, I had no idea you were super into this stuff.
I think it's the biggest in the known universe at this point. Even Chicanos in outer space, I collect more. No, it is. It is. I'm an inveterate collector since I was a little kid. Of something, marbles, a baseball card, stamps. I collected everything. And when I found Chicano art, I was a perfect guy. I knew what it was. I had the money to collect it. That's really key. And had the celebrity in order to proselytize for it. So that's what I started doing. And I just kept collecting and touring it around. I got sponsored and made huge tours in the United States. The collection is played in over 50 museums, which is unheard of for a private collection.
Wild.
Because museums don't like to do that, and I understand why. It jumps their curatorial process, but my intention was to my motto was you can't love or hate Chicano art unless you see it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was my journey to get everybody, as many people as we can, to see Chicano art, and it happened, so there
Have
we
you got
go.
a piece? Have you got a piece you love more than anything else?
No, it's like having a favorite kid, it's like the one that's pissing you off the least at the time,
We all have a favorite kid. It's okay. You can say it.
how that goes.
Yeah. We all have kids. Yeah, we do too.
About that shit.
I was doing the promos for the show today, and I googled the art to try and get some pieces for the promotions, and I was taken by it. I sat and was scrolling through some of this for
me too. The colors pop. I mean,
beautiful.
It's just such an incredible. I wasn't aware of Chicano art until I started going through your collection. Yeah,
that's the whole deal. That was my quest, and it's now we have a permanent place where you can come and see it. But it's because of the length of the duration of the school and the width from coast to coast, from California to New York City, and the description of culture of what it does, I think it's probably one of the most, if not the most important American school of art in its history, and it's continuing. It's going on and on and on. We have Ashcan, and you have Hudson River Valley School, or all these schools, but this is a very long-lasting school that it's continuing to grow as we speak.
When you were making Up in Smoke, did you think that you would become a an art procurer, art dealer, art collector? Did you think that you see that? Because when you're younger and you're out there and you're making comedy and you're making movies and you're in the space and you're partying and you're carrying on, you do have these interests, right? And art obviously was one of those interests. But is this a case of you just kind of morphing into this part of your life, or is this something you've always wanted to do?
I just didn't want to be a felon at that point, so I was guarding against that. I was always a collector of something, and I knew about art and was educated in art from a very early age, from about 11. I had this group of cousins who were very bright young Chicano academics, and we all went to Catholic school, and had a liberal arts education. And the head cousin, Louis, assigned us all topics to learn about, like AP classes. and go learn out about this and bring it back to the group, and then we'll all know. And so he turned to my cousin Ray G. You studied the Middle Ages, and Lolly, you study tech or something, and Cheech, you study art and bring it back. So that's what I did. I went to the library and started taking out all the art books and look at every Saturday. I'd go down there and look through every book they had. And at the end of that process, I knew a lot about Western art, So and I was 11 years old at the time. And so I made it a point to always go to museums and see these paintings live, because you have to see paintings in person to really get the full effect of them. I mean, you can see them in reproduction, but paint is a real a wonderful medium that takes a lot of form. And so I always encourage everybody I could talk to go to museums and see these in person.
Do you get high before you go to these museums? I would.
Sometimes.
Do you have any plan to take the exhibit international, like up here to Canada or over to Europe?
Before, yeah. I was supposed to do the big museum in Vancouver before this offer came through, but we've been to all over the world, a lot of places in France. Bordeaux, we just did a big show in Bordeaux, France, and that was incredible. But I want to make international connections, because we have this program. Most cities have it called the Sister Cities program, and we find sister cities to do exchanges with, and that's what we're looking for next. Once part of the collection is not up, to do an exchange with some other sister city that we get to know each other and we become an international destination, because that's the process that we want to do right now.
Beautiful stuff.
Cheech, are you working on anything right now? I know you're constantly
his golf game. I heard his golf game.
Oh, okay. Is there anything in particular you're working on, even if it's like a picture or a writing project or?
Well, funny you should say that. I did 3 movies last year. One of them has already come out. I did the big Cheech Nash Bridges movie. It did very well, so we're waiting to see about that, if it does more well.
Awesome.
And then I did a big rom-com with J-Lo called Shotgun Wedding, and that'll be out, I think, in July. I think July 4th, around that. And it's really good. A great cast. It was Jennifer and Josh Duhamel and myself and Lenny Kravitz and Jennifer Coolidge and Darcy Carden, and it was a wonderful experience. And we shot it in the Dominican Republic, and so that was cool.
Oh yeah,
go from COVID to the Dominican, And then I did I just finished a picture in December with Woody Harrelson in Canada, in the Peg. We were in Winnipeg.
He was filming in Winnipeg. You're on that project.
I was on that project, yeah.
Very cool.
And it's called Champions, and I'm not sure when it'll come out because I'm not in charge of that part of it. But it's a very good movie. It's a really good movie. I just went and did ADR for it the other day, and it's going to be really good.
So that's a comedy, Cheech? That's a comedy. The one you were, the Champions, is a comedy.
Yeah. I think it's good. I think. They laugh whenever I did something, so I assume it's a comedy. You never know.
We should mention your mezcal one more time. Do you know? Yeah. We should mention whether or not you can get this in Canada, or do we have to go online?
Yes.
Or
you can. It's called beer there, but you can get it.
I looked for it, actually. I went today to look to see. We have some vintages locations here. The way they sell liquor in Canada, again, they fucked that up too. You have to buy it from certain places, so you have to go and
stores. I'd never
it is. It's state run here, right?
And so the state store, and you had to fill out like a questionnaire.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do when you drink this after? Are you gonna throw bottles through windows, or how do you get along with everybody? Or you have any criminal record?
You have some references. I looked for it. I looked for it in the
time, Cheech.
I looked for it in the vintages, and I didn't see it.
Yeah. It is out there. I know we're in Canada, but go on the interweb, and it's in there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I look for it. You can actually get the distribution of it up here if you Google Tres Papalote. You can actually get a flight tray, wooden flight tray that comes with all 3 of these here in Canada. You can order it online. All you need to Google, and they will send these to you. And there's 3 different kinds. And the artist friends of Cheech's did all these labels, these different labels as well, which I find really cool. You've incorporated, like, you did it backwards, where you're like, when weed was super legal, you like were the weed champion, and now that everybody's getting off booze, you're like, no, this is good alcohol. This is mezcal. It's very different. And yeah, it's a sipper. But you've incorporated your love of art into this project as well, which is incredible.
Because I have a short attention span, so I can only do one thing at a time. Sell something. Okay, I got it.
Well, you did.
We should put that webpage up on the.
Yeah, we will. It's in the descriptions, actually. Yeah. The link to it is in our description, so people can actually go order Cheech's mezcal, which is available anywhere in Canada.
Do that flight tray. It'll be really good, man. I like it as a mixed drink too, because I like that smoky flavor that it imparts. And it's really cool once you get inured to it. As you don't want anything else.
Yeah, no, dude, it's delicious.
We got an email, actually. I don't know if we were on the air when this came through, but the product is currently in Leduc Co-op, J Webb Wine Merchants, Glenmore Landing in Calgary. So Lachlan can definitely.
I'll go down to Leduc. That's not bad.
You can order it online as well. Cheech, we're gonna let you go because I know you're busy. Cheech, thank you so much. It was such an honor to meet you. Thank you for forming my childhood. Thank you for making me get into fights with my dad after I watched Up and Smoke, and still smoking, by the way, because I had to go and sneak that one in. I don't know if you know this,
but you were every he's still 14 smoking dog shit.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. And as someone who really appreciates the plant for what it does for me, and as a non-drinker who uses that as cannabis therapy, you were a fucking pioneer when you were doing that stuff. So thank you.
I should get a tax write-off for that.
You should.
Don't you think?
Yeah. Like a pastor or a doctor.
Cheech and Chong should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame too.
I don't see why you're not.
I mean, if there's any comedians that should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it's Cheech and Chong.
Agreed.
We got to start that.
Other musicians cover our stuff.
Yeah.
Right? They do. Yeah. Dude, you're like a cult hero. I don't understand why they're like, if Wham can be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, there's a fucking really serious disservice being done to my friend Cheech Marin and his friend Tommy John.
Spread the word.
All right.
Let them know where they live.
You got it.
Cheech, my pleasure. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Great to meet you, man.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. Cheech Marin, ladies and gentlemen.